All right. Here we are. Okay, I'm just now figuring this out. Welcome. I am working through technical difficulties and making sure I have everything set up. I've got a little more intricate setup this evening than previous times. I've got a mixer here. That's where you hear this music that I'm going to be playing in the background. And, of course, you're going to hear me talking all those things. But we are trying to be more advanced than previous streams. So let me bounce back and forth just to make sure everything's good. Hello, David. Good to see you. Good to have you here. There we go. So tonight I had bigger plans, to say the least. I wanted to do like what I was going to call like mead chores. However, I've had a bunch of things kind of not work out, and so it's not been quite what I want. So I'm here. I'm here to chat with you guys. I'm just making sure everything's all set. How's it going, David? Rubduck Sue, good to have you. We got a couple things on the agenda tonight. One of them is, of course, just, in general chatting about mead. But then I do want to hop on the Discord at some point, and so I'll make sure and put that in the chat if you would like to join the Discord and be a part of that crew. That is a place to talk more about mead making, and I'll put that in the description. Well, it's there, but also I'll share it here. Anyways, lost my music. There we go. So what's going on? The tangerine curry mead is a big win. Oh, interesting. Tangerine and curry to me have this sounds like an episode of Can It Be a Mead to me, but maybe I haven't experienced or experimented with those as much. But interesting regardless. So, hold on, I need to get that Discord link. I'm trying to multitask and it's not quite working. There we go. Okay. Anyways, here we go. This is in the chat now. If you want to join the Discord, that will take you there. And that is the way you can be a part of that crew. I am going to be kind of bouncing around tonight. I recently got a puppy, and if you hear some wild sounds, there's a good chance that he's doing something a little bit mischievous, and I might have to run off and take him somewhere. So, hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Welcome, Cooper. Glad you're here. Yep, I don't know what the dog's doing. Here we are. Come on, buddy. Okay. Already getting in trouble. Okay. I'll show you him real fast. He's quite the cute dog. He's a little bit rambunctious. Alright, bud. Come here. Come here. Oh. This right here is the newest member of my family. This is Boone. He is a Labradoodle, and he's about 9 weeks old, and he's very rambunctious, a little bit wild, but he's a good pup, and hopefully he'll just fall asleep and he won't make too much noise. I tried to take all the super noisy toys for this stream, but there's always a chance that he is going to make some noise. So just be patient with that. Oh, there you go, buddy. Okay. Anyways, we're back. Okay, so first things first. Check out that Discord link. Make sure you join that, because I will be joining that Discord and going in what I call the call-in chat to chat with some people there. Which reminds me, I had to put that together wherever that cable went. So I'll have that up for you guys at some point. But we'll be doing that here in a little bit. And if anything is too loud, I should say, feel free to let me know. Oh, this chat window's getting wonky. Hold on, I gotta make this smaller. If anything's too loud, let me know. I'm gonna try and keep everything not too loud, especially the music. Also, this is the first time I've been doing something fancy. I have a green screen, if you can't tell. I'm a little bit green highlighted because I don't have it lit up super well. But that's why we're here. And I have this, I gotta figure out which way to go. This is my, I had somebody commissioned to do this for me. It's a little, just, I don't know, something background. So it's gonna be nice. All right, let's look at the chat. If I made a mead that I don't much enjoy early on, 4 to 6 weeks, will it taste better or more mellowed by 2 months? It should, theoretically, that the time, well, the mead time, whatever, the aging process of the mead will help it out, but it's not always guaranteed. It could take longer. David, this is where you got the idea. I mean, that sounds like a very interesting mead. I'm definitely interested in that. He's cute. he's definitely a cute dog, and he's sleeping now. So thankfully he's chilled out. He's not gonna be hopefully not causing any problems. He's tuckered himself out. We need a pineapple blueberry mead. Ooh, that does sound good. Doing the most is doing something along that lines. I can't remember exactly what it is. Speaking of him, I'm drinking something from him. This is a well, it looks red, but this is a, making so much noise over here. This is his Applejack, and then it's called a Jack Rose cocktail. It is Applejack, grenadine, and lemon juice, and so it's very good. Puppy's never quiet. Yeah, he's already, even in sleep, he's still somehow making noise. He's a snorer too, so we'll get ready for that. Chocolate cherry mead. Yeah, you could definitely have it ready by Valentine's Day. I actually have a recipe that's on the channel for one that it turned out pretty good. I used cherry juice, black cherry juice, and cacao nibs actually to make that mead, and it turned out pretty fantastic. It's now 10 months old because I had it ready for Valentine's Day this year. So thank you. My background, I really like it too. I don't know which way to go. I really like it too. It looks pretty fun. I can move this guy out of the way. It's a bartender. Oh my goodness, how do I get out of the way? There it is. So my only problem, I had a guy commissioned. I commissioned a guy to do it, and I asked him specifically. I said, "Hey, I would love my idea exactly was, it was this bar scene, and then I wanted a bee as the bartender, and then a guy at the bar, like, just drinking, and the bee was serving him. It's hopefully going to be mead related, and I don't think the guy knew anything about mead, and so ended up with basically just a bartender and a dude at the bar. It worked out. You know, it looks nice back behind, and I got the Man-Made Mead logo, so I am very pleased with that. So, I also have an apple cider, just a little bit. This is one I made. I didn't do much with it. I literally just threw yeast into some apple juice, and then I added priming sugar. Simple, and of course, water. Michelle, welcome. Super glad you're here. I want to know in the chat right now, what do you guys have going on in your own brew house? I'm very curious to hear what you guys are working on. Yeah, he didn't really know what I wanted apparently either, so it's okay. We'll figure it out at some point. Cold brew mead. That sounds pretty good. Is the audio loud enough? Can someone tell me? I'm a little worried that I don't know if it's not, and I normally have like a monitor or something set up, but today I do not. Maybe I can monitor it from here. That sounds pretty good. Is the audio loud enough? Hey, there it is. Okay, that's fun. Make sure to check out that Discord link. I will be going into the Discord for the live chat kind of thing. Should be interesting. Hello? Doing a mango habanero. Super, super good. I highly recommend that. You'll definitely need to counter the heat with some sweetness, unless you really like a dry, hot mead, but still pretty good. What else we got? Got a sack mead, a peach passion cider, just kegged. Ooh. Stoked for 3 barrels going. Man, that sounds good. I one day would love to get a barrel. Just, it's not going to work in a homebrew situation. But it would be so cool to have a home, like a barrel just around. So maybe if I had just a lot of space, but it does not seem like that. Got a sack mead. Oh, I just already read that one. 2 beers finishing up. Chocolate milk stout and a light ale. Nice. 10-pound can of cherries and 5.5 gallons mead. Gallon of one. Sorry, I lost my place. Nice. What if you added wine and secondary mead instead for juice? Oh, like pre-made wine? At that point, you're like mixing. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. I've never done it, but it doesn't sound incredible to me. Maybe it'll work. I just don't think that mixing that mead, for me, if I had like a 12% traditional mead that was out of the primary, and then I was going to throw in like, I don't know, a cab sav like on top of that, which those probably would not pair well together. But I just don't think it would work super well. TK, welcome. Glad you're here, man. Based mead enjoyer. I don't know what that means, but okay. Aging my pumpkin wine and have my first traditional a few days to finish primary. Nice. I need to work on another pumpkin one for this next year. That'd be fun. 2 hydromels, barbarian imperial yeast. That sounds hardcore. Dang. Overdid the habanero. Apple cinnamon. Oh, that's fun. If you didn't get to check out my interview with Superstition Meadery, I did one, I guess it came out last week or 2 weeks ago. But I interviewed the co-founder of it, and it was a super fun time. So it's a long interview. It's on the main channel, but it's a lot of fun. And that reminded me because they tagged me in something. That's kind of sweet. Finished an apple cinnamon. Cinnamon came through super strong, but not enough apple. Possibly, if you can do it, add some actual apples on top of it. That will pronounce the apple flavor. Or you could put some apple juice, but then I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of just adding apple juice in that secondary state. I would put real apples. Juice could also work. Catalyst fermenter, so I did a video on it, still use it. Yes, I would turn my camera around, but it would throw everything off. It is right here, and it is currently holding a peppermint mead, about 5 gallons of peppermint mead, and it is fantastic. I still love using it. New gear, gonna make another batch. Nice. Haven't started anything new, Michelle, recently. Bulk aging. Ooh, yeah, you need to make a bochet. That is a list, like a challenge. 2021, if you're a mead maker, my challenge to you is to go and make a bochet. Because I think you're going to be very pleased with the end result. Maybe not in the beginning, because it does take some time. But that's okay. I think that it will. I think that's okay. I'm gonna pull these off. Okay. If the music's too loud, let me know. I got lost a little bit. Primary, my first mead. That's awesome. White chocolate caramel. That sounds really good too. How much blueberry jam? Oh, so that's Kamran. I don't know if I'm saying that. Kamran Kasser. Wait. Oh, Kara says, dude, your listeners have some great mead ideas. Yeah. I mean, you guys are doing fantastic things, and I'm very thankful for you and your inspiration to me. So thank you guys for helping me out and giving me opportunities to learn too. How long do you age your meads on average? Maybe like 4 to 6 months on average, and then there are a lot that end up just sitting. Like I'll have bottles left over that I age for a year or two. So it just depends. There's an average, probably 4 to 6 months. Do you ever sell your own? I wish I could sell my own. I don't have a meadery. Maybe one day. Maybe one day, Kara. Do you know if raspberry and ginger will go well together? I think so. There's the bite of ginger, but there's also bite and raspberry. So you'd have to have a sweeter profile coming from the raspberry to counteract the ginger, but that could go together. How many meads do you currently have going on? Well, you can't see the wall now, but I probably have in my queue, my project queue right now, I have 20 projects that I'm working on, and each project takes between 2 to 4 months to complete. So that's why I have so many things going on all the time. I'm enjoying the raspberry jalapeno jam wine. Ooh, that sounds good. Oak to watermelon mead. Freeze distilling mellow mel's, yeah. Double check this sound. I don't want to go too loud with this. The music you can hear right now, if you didn't know, I am a musician, and I do, like, I've done my intro song for everything I've done and all those things, but I'm working on a bunch of music that I'm going to put to, if you guys know what those, like, if you're a lo-fi listener, meaning if you look up lo-fi on YouTube, you find those channels that it's like the lo-fi girl and she's just sitting there studying, and then there's the really chill music. I'm working on some of that to do something along those lines, but all this music you hear now is stuff that I've made. It makes me wonder if the music scene working. I'm gonna move this closer. No wonder this is so loud. Hold on, y'all. All right, maybe that's better. My computer is about to take off. It's super loud because it's it's a computer and it's getting warm. So, all right, I've missed some things. I'm sorry. I'll get there eventually. Welcome everybody. Super glad you're here. I do want to promote the Discord if you would love or like to be more involved with mead making. Well, not more involved. If you'd like to talk about mead making more and be part of like another social club, there is a Discord for the Man-Made Mead server. There's also a Discord for like every other one you can think of. So I will throw. Look at Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, I need to click this. Struggling a little bit. Shout out to Michelle, plugging. If you want to support the channel for $2 a month, you guys can do that. You help me continue to make content, better content, I should say, and do things. So, also you get, for $2 a month, you get early access to all of my videos. So that's a nice thing as well. If the music's too loud, let me know. But I'm gonna leave it like that. Here is the Discord link. Boom. I'll throw it down a couple times. Go get into the Discord, because here in about, I don't know, in a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my Discord and join the call-in show line, and we're going to chat. We get to chat about mead making, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I'm excited for that. Oh, there we go. I probably lost it. Hope I didn't lose that. Anyways, sorry, I lost all of these things. Thank you, TK. I appreciate that. I'm excited. This music's fun to me just because I like making music, but I also am definitely a lo-fi kind of guy. It's just a relaxing style of music, and so it's been fun. I'm about to finish an hour of music, and I have a pretty cool idea for like the behind the whatever video portion. So we'll see. Kamran says, if I'm saying that wrong, sorry. It looks like Cameron, but it's not, so sorry about that. When did you first start mazing? It's been a little over 3 years now. Yeah. So when I started the YouTube channels, when I really got into brewing in general. I had brewed beers and done mead stuff. Not really done mead stuff. I'd just done a couple beers, and then I decided to just go for it. And here we are. Drinking Horn, thank you for showing up, man. Appreciate you. I hope you have a great night. The Kvike, yeah. You should definitely go try some Kvike. It definitely creates a very interesting... It's interesting mead. And the yeast itself obviously does a lot of stuff to the mead. So, sorry, I'm just checking the music again. Oh, we're good. Anyone have any experience with boiling lemon drops? I've only done candy canes, so somebody else might be able to say. Canarin? Oh, interesting. Canarin. Okay, that's not how I would have said it. Lo-fi SoundCloud? No. Well, that lo-fi stuff will be out. Hopefully, I'm collaborating with one of my friends who's an artist to hopefully, we're trying to make the behind-the-scenes video of it for like the lo-fi feel. So I have all the music done, but I'm waiting on that stuff. That'll be out soon. I'm gonna put it on the main channel, so we'll see. Should be fun. Favorite Amaretti product? Oh, what have I used the mostly? The blueberry turned out decent. Apple pie. I like their stuff that's niche, to be honest. Cameron. Oh. Sorry. I like their stuff that is niche, meaning like stuff you can't really create super easily. So, for example, one is like a maple praline. So it's obviously the maple praline like candy cookie pastry idea, but wrapped into a flavoring. So it's very, very simple and pretty fun. Other than that, they have a lot of great stuff. Anything you use from them is going to be good, in my opinion. Are traditional meads supposed to be sweet or dry? That is completely up to you, because at the end of the day, when you create your mead, you are the master of that mead. And if you like sweet things, then you need to go back and back sweeten the mead to make it sweet. Or if you like it dry, leave it dry. That is really an opinion more than it is a fact. So me saying, like, if I said I like sweet traditionals, that doesn't mean that every traditional should be sweet, if that makes sense. Cameron, I'm just gonna call you that because I'm gonna keep saying it super weird every time. So sorry, Cameron. Lemon drops can be a bit overbearing. Yeah, you definitely have to counteract lemon drops with the with actual honey character or sweetness or some sort. So let me check one thing. Oh, sorry, I'm struggling, y'all. Is anyone? I know it's Monday night, and I'm a teacher, so I'm definitely off for this next little bit. It's hard for me to relate if you are not currently off of work, and I'm sorry, but is anybody drinking anything tonight to commemorate this Monday night? We just have a few nights left of 2020, and I think that's pretty interesting. I hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas. I definitely had a fun Christmas, and I am very thankful in some ways this year's ending. I have some great ideas for next year, hopefully. So we'll check this. Yeah. Doing a Cider with orange blossom, D47, and apple juice. What specific gravity is good maxing D47s? D47 is one of those yeasts that on the package says 14%, but people have been able to push it up to 15-16%. If you are trying to max it out, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start at, I would say, 15% ABV, which would be, oh, this is where I got to do some math. 1.120 maybe? I don't know. You're going to want to get up to 15%, assuming that the yeast will stop at 14, but there's a good chance they might not. Do you always degas for meads? No. Not constantly. Only if I feel like I really need it, but most of the time they degas. Over time, and if you're trying to quickly get through a mead, like if you're trying to churn it out in a month, then yeah, you probably should degas. But if you are willing to wait, then degassing is not as important. Meridian Hive Blackberry. I haven't had that one yet, and I wish I could. That one's super good. I need to order from them again. Drinking beer. Michelle, it's 4:30 there? Man, that's wild. Is it a light beer? Is it a heavy beer? I'm curious. I want to bottle my mead, but I don't Also want to back sweeten. How long after adding potassium metabisulfate? Oh, I think you're flipping your words. Potassium metabisulfate should you sweeten and bottle. So, Kara, you're going to want to add potassium sorbate. Sorbate is the stabilizer. Potassium metabisulfite is a preservative that helps the mead age over time. So you want to add potassium sorbate. What you want to do is add that in, wait 24, 48 hours to let it mix in, then go through and add your honey. Bob, welcome. Glad you're here. Not for any reason. I like effervescence in mine. Would you recommend stopping before finishing to keep bubbling? Yes, but be careful. Make sure that you stop it maybe at like 1.005. You don't want to have too much sugar in there because you might create a bottle bomb, and that is dangerous for sure. Taster of my cherry mead at 1/5 sugar. Nice. That must be pretty good. You probably have a little sweetness in there. Maybe a little yeasty because if it's still fermenting. Drinking some cinnamon hydromel. Ooh, just the cinnamon hydromel sounds great. Finished off my first traditional. 1.12. Yeah, Scott. Yep. Banana kiwi. That sounds pretty good. The eggnog. I've never made homemade eggnog. It seems like it'd be a fun thing to do at some point. Bud Light. Hey, that's okay. It's okay. It's grab a bud, right? Is that their slogan? I think it is. Have you ever used lactose in a mead? Thinking of doing a cojito mead or braggot with lactose? Yes, I actually have in the most recent, I don't know when it's going to come out, but in the most recent episode, well, one coming out, of Can It Be a Mead, I used lactose in that mead, and it worked out really well. It added body, it added a little sweetness, it filled out that character that I really wanted. So I enjoyed getting to do that. I definitely think that lactose and maltodextrin are two things you can safely add to a mead, comfortably add to a mead, I should say. Sorry. Oh no, I'm moving the wrong thing. Hold on, y'all, I'm struggling. There we go. Boom. Welcome. We got a lot of people watching. This is exciting. Glad you're here. If you are just joining, and first of all, if you're watching this and not subscribed, I hope you'll hit subscribe because I've got a lot of mead-related content coming out. I do a lot of mead science and making of meads and just diving into the mead world more, so it's quite fun. But I hope you'll hit subscribe, and I hope you'll just chat some. This is a great opportunity to talk with this community. Obviously, we have a great community here, and I'm very thankful for the people here, and I'm thankful that you're here. Thank you. We gotta check the music, make sure we're not too loud. Oh, we're good. We're good. I think that I don't know if I kept it at the same volume for everything, so I can't remember. I started a cheap cider and wine from store-bought juice. Went to sleep. Yep, and it's already going. That's great. It's great right there. Currently conditioning or recently... Oh, wow. That's a lot of stuff. Ved Yelpek. I might have butchered your name, and I'm sorry if I did. But that sounds fantastic. Easy make takes about 2 hours. Maybe you should consider food science and chemistry as a secondary bachelor degree or attending recorded lectures on YouTube. I think it would help. Yeah, I definitely think that'd be interesting. I would love to do... like some of the sommelier training where they get really like they're just expanding their palate and understanding different flavors more. I would love to get more involved with that one day, but it takes a lot of time. I definitely think I've come a long way from my first meads I made to now. So if you want to see evidence of me getting most of my meads wrong, not most, a lot of my meads wrong. The Man-Made Mead Tournament of 2018, where I faced 16 of my meads for the first time together, is on YouTube, and it is a little bit of a disaster, but it's okay. It's still fun, and inspired me to do the 2020 version. Maybe we'll do a 2021 version. Who knows? Have you tried adding hops to a mead? Yes, I have. I want to play around with dry hopping and secondary. It's great. You want to... I wonder, hold on, let me grab something. I have a little, it's a hop cage. There it is. Okay, I just recently got this. You can use, you don't have to use this specific thing, but you want to put your hops in a bag of some sort, like a cheesecloth. This is a hop cage, or a drop. Normally for hops, you can do other things in it, but this cage just opens up and it keeps most of the big pieces of the hops from flying out into your mead. I can safely say that I have dry hopped and lost a lot of mead on many occasions. Especially, there's a video I put up on YouTube of dry hopping some meads. I threw them straight into the mead, but didn't put them in a bag, and it looked like a swamp. So, yeah, I would say get something like this, which is a hop cage. This is from Northern Brewer. You can also just use cheesecloth or some other material to dry hop easier. Where am I at? Is it just me, or do traditionals always... I don't think they always smell weird. Maybe at first, but after they age, theoretically, they get better. Do you have a lot of man-made mead logos? Which one have you decided on? I have like 4 or 5 that I float around with. I mean, this is one I use a lot of. Another one is just man-made mead, and I have a few. I don't really have a specific one that I use all the time. I'd rather be able to float. Starting my first mead, the first week of the new year. Hey, that's awesome, Bob. Sorry, checking the music. Is it me, or does anybody get serious satisfaction? A little burbling sound with the airlock. You know, this room, whenever I have things fermenting like crazy, it is pretty satisfying. It's kind of like the clock's ticking if you were somewhere that had a audible clock. Red Bull traditional mead. Whoa. I mean, I'm not going to knock it because I haven't tried it yet. But to be honest, it sounds kind of scary. So I don't know if I'll be mixing with that. Stefan. I think I'm saying this. Or Steven. One of the two. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Hi there. I found your channel through CS Mead. Nice to see you live. Hey, glad you're here, man. Starting my first mead tomorrow. Mango mead. 13 pounds of honey. 10 pounds of frozen mango. That sounds fantastic. Fantastic. Man. How's the recovery from COVID? I am all good. I had, well, how long did it take? It took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get my taste fully back. And I saw some of you guys commenting on my video from the last 2 I posted. And I didn't, in the time I had COVID, I didn't record any tastings other than the one tasting I did. Because I didn't want to eschew anything. So those videos were actually from before COVID. Now some of the stuff that you're going to see soon is from post-COVID. But I'm good. Thank you for asking. Was a chef for 20 years. Hoping I can apply, get it down the road. Ooh, yeah. I mean, you definitely have the culinary ability, which is definitely going to translate into being able to create good, hopefully good meads. Bob, sounds like you're getting cheered on, my friend. I don't know what happened, but congratulations. How do you make your labels? I had a friend help design them for me. She gave me the raw files so that I just go in and convert them. There's a video. If someone will help me out, there's a video I posted on how to make homebrew labels. If someone will post that in the chat, that would be really helpful. Because if I pull away from this, everything's gonna explode, and then I don't have the best luck with streams, so I'm trying to keep this up. Have you tried? I don't even know how you say that. OAXA can honey. Walkin'? Ooh, is that how you say it? Walkin' honey? I cannot say I have tried that honey. No idea. Steven. Stefan. Steven. It's Steven. Okay, sorry. Anyone want a series where alcohol is made out of weird things like toilet paper? Ooh, I do a lot of experimental stuff, but I do not know if I will be the one to start that. Sorry, don't know about that. Burbling, let's see. Lost my taste from COVID. I'm glad. All better. Good. Kara, I'm very glad to hear that. It's not fun, I can tell you that. So, okay. This started experiment. Lost my taste for COVID. Have you tried cranberry mead? I had a bunch of fresh cranberries left over from Thanksgiving, but I was worried about the level of tartness. Ended up... tartness you can contrast with honey if you back sweeten. You can, of course, if you're going to back sweeten without wanting to carbonate, that's like an easy process. So if you're okay with it being a still mead, then... Hold on, I gotta click on this. There we go. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why this isn't working, Michelle. I'm gonna thank you, Michelle, for finding it. Okay, there's that video. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh, if you're trying to... A still mead is easy to make sweet. A carbonated mead is less easy, so you have to go through some extra steps. Don't really want to get in that right now. I'm scared to drink my own mead. Why? That's number one question. Why are you scared to make it, or to try it? Does it smell bad? If it smells bad, then maybe give it some time, depending on the smell. If it smells like rotten eggs or something completely wild, then that could be different. There's a thing called fusels in brewing, and fusels within brewing are bad alcohols created from weird fermentations, and that happens with just yeast. So I would say if you're scared to try it, I don't really know what to tell you. Do you think the flavor would come through in a mead made with cotton candy grapes? Maybe, if you juiced enough of them, if you got enough flavor from them. I would definitely go, I would do, if I were making that mead, I would use about half juice, half water, add my honey in, and the secondary go through and add the, add more of the juice to try and pronounce the flavor in the secondary, because the fermentation is less vigorous, so I think it'd be a little bit easier to handle. Basically ended up with Viking's Blood Cranberry Mead. Interesting. That sounds good. Surprisingly, I haven't made two of the standard meads. I haven't made Bray's 1 month mead. Is that how you say it? I think. It's the mead that takes 1 month. It's super easy. It's that one recipe that a lot of people know. I haven't made that before. I also truly haven't made a Viking's Blood. So at some point I will do that, but I have not done that yet. So I guess that'll be a video in the future. Although I have a lot of stuff coming out. Storm Before Dawn made a cotton candy grape mead. Interesting. This is really good. Shout out to Doing the Most. Oh, this is fun. Floating glass. You guys like that? Man. Hey, I'm going to link to the Discord again real fast. What I want you guys to do is, if you're not a part of the Discord, which if you don't know what Discord is, it's another community. Imagine if you took a Facebook mead making group and then you... well, I'll put it this way. Let's say you got rid of all the riffraff, the people asking really silly questions, and you got people asking intricate questions. This is the Discord. It's a very good place to talk to people about mead making. There are a lot of people in there. There are a lot of people, honestly, way more knowledgeable than me, and I will never claim to know everything, because I feel like I'm continuously learning. So I often go to that Discord and learn something. But check that out. I will be jumping into that Discord here in a few minutes, live on this, and we're going to chat with some people about mead making, people within that. So go check that out. Do you use any specific tools to clean your gallon carboys? Yes. Let me find one. Huge guy. One of them. This thing right here. This is a brush. And this is for a 3-gallon carboy, and you kind of have to curl it into the thing and then whatever around, and you can get all the crap off of it. They make smaller ones. This is the biggest one I think I've found. So you need something like that. You need something like that for cleaning those carboys. Might make a grapefruit raisin. Interesting. Elder Scrolls cookbook. Ooh, that'd be fun. What's the easiest mead to make? In my opinion, any mellow mel is generally easy to make because able to fight against. Okay, I'll put it this way. Traditional meads are the hardest to make, in my opinion, because they are solely relying on the honey to get all of your character, all of your flavor, all of your everything you want in that drink. So if you don't use the right yeast and you don't use all these specific things, there's a good chance that it won't turn out very good. That's why traditionals are probably the most difficult. Mellow mells, being a mead plus fruit, are generally easier because you have normally a nice character coming from the honey, but then you also have the sweetness, the sugar, the whatever else from the fruit. So like an apple or like a blueberry mead or something like that is probably one of the easiest ones to start off making, in my opinion. Anyone use Safe 05 or 04? Cameron, I actually have, it won't be out for a while, but I did a yeast shootout between a Saison ale yeast and this sap ale US05, and I honestly can't remember because I just finished. I don't know. That'll be out one day. Yippee, welcome. Gonna miss this cast. Hey, happy New Year, man. Glad to see you hop in here. Thanks for popping in. I'm sure I'll catch you sometime in the Discord since I see you in there all the time. Sorry, I'm skipping through SO4 twice. Man, is this just really behind? How are we doing musically? Oh, we're doing okay. Okay. So, I am about to hop into this Discord, and I'm going to keep this chat up so you guys can talk. You'll be able to hear the people within this, but if you want to talk to me with your voice, not just over the keys of a keyboard, feel free to hop into the Discord and join the... it is called the live chat. I got to find it out here now. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at all these new Discord people. Woo! Man. Oh, yeah. This is exciting. Okay, so I'm hopping in. I gotta find it. The call-in show chat. If you want to join, it's on Discord. I should be able to get this to work here in a moment. And what I recommend, if you're joining, because there's latency between YouTube and this live thing, there's like, I think a 5 or 10 second delay. You'll want to listen to just the Discord audio. You won't want to listen to the YouTube because you'll be back behind. But there's that. So I'm gonna switch over to our Discord people. Welcome. We got New Rose. We got Steve Spam. How are you guys doing?
Yep, it's good.
Man, glad to have you guys here. So what's new with you guys? What's good with the brewing world for you?
So I actually asked this question in the Discord, in the YouTube chat, but I was curious if you had a for this. I was wondering how you felt about champagne yeast over ale yeast, because I generally tend to use champagne yeast, but I'm wondering what you think the advantage is to one versus the other.
Well, I'll tell you this. One of my favorite yeasts to use ever is actually a champagne yeast. I love using the EC1118. Most people will say that champagne yeast blow off more flavors because they ferment more vigorously, and therefore you lose a lot of that honey character. I'm on the contradictory side. I prefer using champagne yeast, well, specifically the EC1118, because it has a more round honey character post-fermentation than like a Lavin D47, which is not a champagne yeast. If you're asking me which one I prefer, I would say, I don't know if I would say all champagne yeast, though. It's kind of like I'd have to really side-by-side a lot of them. But I will say this, champagne yeast can be most useful when you're trying to carbonate a mead, of course, because you're able to get up to those high ABVs, 18%. So most people will use them for carbonating. They're probably a little more utilitarian to me than, say, your standard like D47 or your Red Star Blanc, something like that only gets up to 13, 14. Those have their place, but I prefer champagne.
Yeah, that's interesting because I actually use that yeast 1118, but I just recently bought, I think, a Lagavulin 70, I think.
71B?
Exact number. That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm using that with I'm making a Cider right now. Kind of interested to see how that turns out.
I think that Mead people call the 71B the 71 Beast, and that's because it is also one of those yeasts that burns through fermentations, can kind of combat most anything. So it is a great yeast as well. People use it all the time. I think you're going to have a great product from that.
I have heard that the champagne yeast that I'm using tends to put off less foam, so I don't know if that's that you've noticed.
Meaning like degassing?
No, just in terms of like, having to put in like a tube or something like that to deal with blow off.
Oh, yeah. So it probably ferments less vigorously. Yeah, I follow you. Honestly, I can't say specifically that I've noticed that. There are some yeast that are obviously not as vigorous of fermenters, but I've not directly noticed that with that one. So, I think that you're gonna have a great product regardless. So, sorry, I gotta move this. There we go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, that's good feedback. Yeah, I'm just doing mostly gallon brews right now. Like super crazy, but
yeah, start small so you can.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stuck with 6 gallons of something you don't like. So it gets a little bit sketchy when you just kind of throw caution to the wind. It's good to do that, but with mead, it can be scary when you're adding like 18 pounds of honey into something.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a lot of investment to make on a product that you may not like when you get it back.
Especially if you're making mead right, in my opinion, you're going to buy honey that is higher quality, because that will lead to a higher quality product at the end. So you don't want to. I think it's good to make recipes with smaller batches. In fact, some of my videos coming out are half-gallon batches, and I think some people are going to frown at me for doing half gallons, but I'd prefer to do that to know it tastes good, and then go off and make the 6 gallon of it. So that's just opinion of mine.
Yeah, honey is an interesting point to bring up, because when I started doing this, I actually was using the Costco honey.
Mm-hmm.
The big giant, like 5 gallon or pound things of honey, and that turned out a fine product. Although I doubt it was actually honey in the true sense of it.
Yeah.
But recently I've been looking to more of the organic, smaller wildflower honeys, and I really like the flavor of that honey that I'm using.
For sure. Costco honey is not bad. I've used it before. It makes really pretty good mead. It does, post-fermentation again, lose some of those important characters. So that's where using even higher quality honey is nice. But if you're trying to make mead on a budget, which, let's be real, is a lot of so everyone wants to make mead on a budget. You can get away with doing those things. You don't have to spend like $9 for a pound of honey. You can, but you're going to end up blowing your wallet. I would wait to do that until you're like made a bunch of meads.
I'm actually really glad you did that one buckwheat honey mead, because that warned me away from it a little bit.
Yeah, I actually have. I still have 20 pounds of buckwheat honey. I got to blow through at some point.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a lot of honey, and it's a very strong flavor. So I don't know if I'll make a buckwheat traditional again, but I'll definitely integrate it into various other meads to see what I can create with that. Hopefully. But I'm excited to hear about that, man. You'll have to let me know how that turns out.
Yeah, definitely, will do. I actually have been wondering about, because there was another YouTuber that tried an Oxygenate, which is honey mixed with maple syrup, and that got me thinking about mixing other kinds of syrups like agave or
yeah, that's a common thing as well.
Even molasses, I guess. Really interesting.
Yeah, agave. Well, at least maple syrup. The Acerglyn thing is pretty common. The Agave side, not as much. I've seen it some, but I have not seen like a ton of recipes. You can definitely experiment with it. In fact, I think you can use really in mead making and wine making too. You can use any sugar substance to make a mead. And the Acer Glen is one of those that people like go back and forth and say like, is it technically a mead? And because it's not using honey necessarily. And so that's the only problem, quote, with using.
Well, I guess the argument is that if you're blending it with honey, maybe it technically meets the requirements. But I mean, I don't know if there's any technical definition of mead aside from it has honey. I mean, lots of meads out there that are probably more grape juice than they are honey.
Right.
You know, on the shelves. So
as long as it's 51% your fermentation sugar coming from honey, then technically it can be a mead. That's where, yeah, that's the rule, quote. So, I need to do one thing. I'll be right back, you guys. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to actually restart the music. I've got 55 minutes of music, and I just went through all of it already. So, but I am back. If you want to join in chat about mead making with your voice, not just your fingers, come join the Discord. I will throw the link again into the chat. I would love to have you guys a part of this group. It is a fantastic group to really to be around. I learn something new from this Discord every day, and it's just a great community. So check out that link in the description. So other people in the call-in show chat, we got New Rose, Scott and Steve. I would love to hear from you guys. What do you have going on? What's new in your brew house, or what can we hear from you? If you want to chat. You don't have to chat by any means.
Well, I'm going to start my first brew. This is Scott. Start my first brew here probably on Thursday. My honey's supposed to get here from Amazon.
Sweet.
And just got inspired by watching a bunch of you guys' videos and started trying a few meads, and I really like it, so I'm hoping it turns out well.
So what are you gonna make? What's your first mead you want to make?
Well, I've got 6 pounds of the orange blossom honey coming. I was going to use apple juice for a Cider and D47.
Sweet. So
thinking like 1.2 gallons. Just do a gallon of water plus the honey, so that whenever I rack over, it'll fill up the carboy.
Are you using a bucket to ferment the primary?
Yeah, I'm going to use a 2.5 gallon bucket to ferment for primary, and then rack over to a 1 gallon carboy for secondary.
Sweet. That's perfect. That's a great plan. And are you more of a sweet mead wine person, or are you somebody who likes drier things? Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I fall more towards dry on most things, like Pinot Grigios and brutes when it comes to like champagne and stuff. But the meads haven't actually found a dry one at my local store.
It's hard to find them, that's for sure.
I've tried 2 different Dansk mods, and then Wyoming, and the name is escaping me right now. They were all. The one from Wyoming said it was dry, but it was sweet too, so I don't know.
Interesting. Well, how do I put this? The sweet to dry spectrum is like, it has a description quote, but in reality it is kind of an opinion, because like what's sweet to me might not be sweet to you, and it's I equate it to like the movie rating spectrum. Like an R-rated movie to me might not be the same to somebody else, or vice versa, whatever. So it's just somebody trying to put an opinion down on it. There is a description of like sweet meads, like I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think dry is 0.990 to like 1.005 final gravity. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I probably am, but 1.005 to whatever number is semi-sweet, and then sweet is like 1.030 to infinity. So there is a for judging reasons, there is an actual kind of spectrum, but I do think that it still falls down to the person's opinion of sweetness penultimately.
Yeah. Well, I guess since this is my first one, it might be smart for me to just stabilize after and then back sweeten.
Oh yeah, I would. Okay, if I were to recommend one thing to you, my first meads. In fact, I have a box up here. It's a 2020 box, and I only took out one bottle this year. I meant to try all 12 of the bottles that were in there this year, but I didn't. My first meads, I didn't do any back sweetening. I left them all dry, and at least what I learned is that I like a little bit sweeter meads. And so these, while they're good, they're still dry. And I think they would have ended up being a little nicer to me had I back sweetened. So I would definitely recommend, if you can do it, going ahead and back sweetening. Because 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, when you want to try that mead, it might be more to your liking.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I to be like super good at it. Oh, I imagine it's going to take some iterative before.
Oh yeah. Dude, I've done, test after test, and I think I just logged my 140th mead, and I still feel like at this point, this is not to be discouraging to people, but I still feel like at this point I'm like learning something every day, which is exciting, but it is also like, oh my gosh, like, is there an end to this? And in truth, there's not. There are too many styles of mead, too many things to try and master at this point. So I would recommend finding a recipe you like, and then mastering that, quote, making it a bunch until you get the version you like, and of course making other things in the process.
Yeah, I that's what my plan is. I wanted to just keep making small batch and, do a ancient orange 1-2 or a couple of them that are going to be ready to drink faster.
Yeah.
And then put the old ones back so that I have something to drink, but just keep brewing and brewing and brewing until I start to find my own rhythm, my own style.
Well, the one that I want to make at some point is called Bray's 1 Month Mead, BOOMM, and it's one of those standards that lots of people make. Theoretically, again, I've not made it, so I don't know if this is true. It's ready in a month. So if you are wanting to make something that's a fast turnaround, there's that. You can also make a hydromel, which is like a 7.5% or lower ABV mead, and those generally churn out within a month to 2 months. As opposed to like a 14 plus, or let's say 12 plus ABV mead, which needs probably 6 months to a year or more.
Yeah, would you carbonate something like a hydromel though more often than
most of the time? Just because unless you do some really fantastic back sweetening, or not back sweetening, excuse me, body adapting for the mead, I would definitely carbonate it, because at 7% and below, you're getting kind of watery, and oftentimes you lose. You don't have a great honey character unless you've used a really nice kind of honey. So what I would recommend you do is back sweeten with, well, if you're bottle carbonating, you have to back sweeten with something like erythritol or any sort of sugar that can't be fermented on, and then add, some priming sugar to bottle carbonate. If you have the luxury of carbonating in a keg, then you can just stabilize that thing. You can add your honey if you want to do that, to back sweeten with that or whatever sugar, and then force carbonate. So I would definitely carbonate a hydromel, because it fills the body out. I've had a couple, like I have one right in front of me right now that's just sitting that I have to do something with. It is like a lemon hydromel. It's 7%. It's not carbonated. I don't plan on carbonating it, and it's just not very full. It doesn't have a lot of body to it. So they're a little bit tough to work with.
So would you add tannin to something that you were planning on doing that low like maybe some sort of skins of like grapes or something like that to add a tannic value.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. What I would recommend, let's see, what would I do? My most recent hydromel, I did two main things. I added acid blend to it to try and change some of the acidity, the mouthfeel, the bite on it, because it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And then I also, I actually added a little bit of maltodextrin, which is a way to build the body of a mead without adding fermentable sugar. So that is, again, it's a powder though. People don't really like. You can use tannin, like you said, grape skins, or you can use anything else really to add the tannin value. I would just caution you that with grape skins, unless you are really good about somehow getting off all the sugar, you're going to have a little bit of re-fermentation. So it kind of becomes a catch-22 of, am I going to add more more fermentation when I'm just trying to add body? So
I've heard tea leaves can be a good.
Yes, tea is a great way to do it.
Tannin.
If you start with tea, you don't really want to go back and add tea, because then you're watering down the mead in the secondary. I would definitely recommend starting with a tea base of some sort.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that I think I'm a plan to force carbonate for anything, stabilize and force carbonate, rather than just I'm afraid of bottle bombs, and I figured the forced carbonation just
as should everybody. Everybody should be afraid of bottle bombs. Be careful, y'all.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let somebody else. I feel like I'm monopolizing your time, so I'm gonna let somebody else get.
I'm glad to talk to you.
Glad to talk to you too.
I'm gonna throw the Discord chat, or not Discord chat, but the link. Feel free to join this. This is not just for tonight, y'all. This is for all of eternity, so to speak. This is the Discord where we get to chat about mead making all the time. It's a fantastic place, and you can ask questions. And I don't think I'm a part of the Discord all the time, and I never see anybody shamed for any question, which is a fantastic mark of a good community. You can go in there and ask a silly question, or you can ask any question you want, and I promise you, if you feel like it's a dumb question, people are gonna come around you and help you out. They're not gonna make you feel bad, and that's not true of every community. So just make sure that you are clicking that link to join us. It'd be great. And sorry, chat, and I know I've been ignoring you some because I'm chatting with these people, so I see that you guys are having your own conversation, which is awesome. So what's going on? Other people, we got Javier, we got New Rose, Scott, and Steve Spam in here. Feel free to join other people if you would like to chat. Also, that's what I'll do. I am going to throw into the Discord, for those of you who want to see my setup, because it looks outrageous tonight. If you want to see what my setup looks like for this, it's being put into the Discord currently, and it looks so silly. So what do we got going on, y'all?
Well, not much on my end. I've been mostly getting prepped for my club's homebrew competition.
Cool. What are you prepping?
Well, I'm in charge of the whole thing, which is wild for me, but...
Oh, cool. Well, so what's the... did you have a theme this time or anything like that?
No, so I am a member of the Cane Island Ailers. I'm, in fact, the competition coordinator for the Cane Island Ailers.
Okay.
And this is a BJCP-sanctioned homebrew competition.
Sweet.
We are adding meads this year, just beers and mead.
That's sweet. Man. Okay, so how long have you been into the mead making game?
I want to say about 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So what's your if you had to pick one recipe that you make, what would you say is your, not to have you give it away, what would you say is your best recipe you like to make?
Something that reminds me of home is my Star Anise mead, which was
Ooh.
It's just a simple thing. Did a sweet traditional and then spiced it with star anise tincture.
I actually have some star anise sitting in my cabinet, and I've never used it. What would you say, as somebody who's used it, what's the flavor profile of star anise?
A bit like licorice, but sweeter. You know, it has a very strong perceived sweetness to it, which works really well with just by itself. I wouldn't really, I haven't really made that many spiced meats, just a couple, but that's so far just use it in a tincture because it's very overpowering.
Yeah.
And something that you have to, do a little taste test as you're adding to it. You know, I had 500 milliliter beaker and just a 1 milliliter of mead and one small little milliliter of the standard star anise tincture to flavor that mead.
It
strong.
definitely seems like just a very powerful. I don't know. I'm excited to use it at some point. I'm a little bit lost on I need to look up a recipe on what I want to make with it exactly, because it definitely seems a little bit scary. Like you said, it's very strong flavored, so you don't want to go too crazy with it.
Yeah, basically, what I've heard for people that have just have just used star anise is just basically crush up one flower and put it in for about, I don't know, a few days up to a week, and that's it.
Okay. Interesting. Now, here's a flip question. You have your favorite recipe. Is there something that you've tried that absolutely failed? Like, in your opinion, was just, not good?
From what I've made, not really, in a sense of the failure is something that I tried to do something and it didn't come out as I expected it to come out.
Okay.
But they still came out drinkable.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
Like, I'm not gonna say something's failure. Oh, it tastes like diapers, or something like that.
Well, I mean,
it just
even if you said it was this is all opinion based too. So there are some meads that, in my opinion, work really well, and some flavor profiles that do, and some that don't. But that doesn't mean that you're not. People shouldn't go off and try to make those meads by any means.
No, right, and there's tons of different ways to approach anything. So I'm just trying to see what I find the best. I mean, I look at the recipes people put online and stuff. And how can I approach that differently, or if there's a different way to do it?
I mean, yeah. No, I think that I love recipes, and I think they're really important. But I do think that sometimes we get stuck. Saying that this is the only way to make this mead. And there's some taboo things. Like, if you look at any mead making forum, most people say don't mess with the Joe's Ancient Orange Mead recipe, because that is standard. And I agree. There are some things that have been, quote, perfected. But I don't think it's a bad thing to try and alter a recipe if you feel like it would fit you better, ultimately. It's not fair to say hey, you can't change this recipe because that's wrong. It's well, this is still an art in itself, and art requires you to make something new. So I need to fix. Well, I lost a light. Give me one moment, y'all. We're gonna have a music break.
I know, speaking personally, I have tried making blackberry mead 2 or 3 times. I've never been really satisfied with raw fruit. It just doesn't end up tasting how I want it. If anyone else has tried that, I'd love to hear it.
I'm kind of curious. When everybody started here, as they made their meads, did you just start making traditionals? Did you just dive straight into making melomels or acerglins or spice meads or anything like that, or when did you start experimenting with different things? First couple of years, all I did was make traditional, trying to perfect recipe for that.
Yeah, the first one or two I made was a traditional, and then I tried a blackberry. Didn't end up being happy with that. I also started at a half gallon before moving gallon, and that, yeah, I wasn't happy. But then after that, I started incorporating more apples and oranges, and I liked my results there better. That was just my experience.
All right, I am back. I had to switch. I had this. Looks. Well, can't see it in the green screen, but this is an apple cider that I made, and it just wasn't doing it for me. So I'm switching over to Christmas ale, Black Mesa Norwegian style Christmas ale. Shout out to them. Sorry, y'all, it's loud. Anyways, so let's see who we got in here. I just left, so I don't know if we got some new people. Feel free to join if you would like, by the way. We are in the call-in show on the Discord, and we're chatting about mead making. So, here we are. We got New Rose, Scott, and Steve Spam still. What do we got going on, guys?
Well, I'm about to pour a glass of a mead that I actually ended up really enjoying. It's a mango mead. A mango, used dried mangoes, organic, unsweetened.
Okay.
With orange peel and some orange sections too, and I really enjoyed it. It's gotten a little drier since then, so I think the up to a little bit of sweetening, but man, it ended up being great. Really happy with it.
That sounds fantastic, man. All right, I don't Steve, I'm sure that was you talking just then. I was not looking at the moment, but
yes, it was.
I asked Javier earlier. He had a favorite recipe. What's a recipe in your opinion that what's a recipe you've made that you would recreate again? Like, do you have a house standard recipe for you?
Definitely the mango. Also, I've made some methaglins that I've really enjoyed. Those have been just fantastic. Although I think I need to learn to cut down on the cloves. Those. What's up?
I was gonna ask you. So what would you say with methaglins? Since obviously that style of mead has a lot of variations with the amount of spices around. What's your favorite spice to use? Yeah. Is it clove at this point, or what would you say is the one you've mastered? Cinnamon. Mm-hmm.
Cinnamon, allspice, and clove are the three sort of spice components that I use with my methaglin. Actually ended up using a little extra cinnamon the first time around, and I really liked it with a little extra back sweetening. And I think that it made a real delicious product. So I was happy with that in a big way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever made? Actually haven't done it yet. Have you ever made just a straight up cinnamon like mead, like cinnamon methaglin, no extra flavors?
No, but I have thought about that, sort of like a fireball style mead. It seems interesting.
Yeah, I realized this sounds silly. I realized I could do that whenever I actually tried a commercial mead that was a vanilla and cinnamon methaglin, and it was fantastic. And so that kind of opened the doors for me to go, oh yeah, you don't have to pair cinnamon with a fruit or another. Well, I guess in that case it had another flavor, but you don't have to pair it with something. You can use just one spice and make the mead that you want to make. And so I definitely am inspired to make something with that.
That vanilla sounds like a great idea. I actually have a whole giant bottle of Mexican vanilla that I didn't even think about using the extract that is.
I have a half bottle too.
Would it be better as the bean or as the extract? I mean, the extract is obviously going to come with some alcohol inherent in the product, but you don't really need to.
Well, and it depends on who you ask. Some people will say that if you're using extract, that you're not really using real vanilla, and there is some truth to using actual vanilla bean. I think that it does extract a different amount of flavor, a different flavor profile possibly. However, they're so expensive. I mean, you're gonna spend like 15, 20 bucks on 1 or 2 beans, and that will get you maybe a gallon or 2 depending on how much you're trying to make. So yeah, I don't know. I have some Mexican vanilla as well. It's actually from my mom, and she got it like 6 months ago, and I was asking her about it because she had some, and I said, hey, can I have some of that? She's like, no, I'm gonna use it. And just the other day she was like, okay, now you can have it. So she finally handed it over. But it definitely is much better than the whatever we have here at this point. If you, by the way, if you want to see, and the Discord people have seen this photo, but I think it looks really silly. My setup, this looks nice right here, but in actuality, if you look at the picture on the Discord, it looks insane. I have, for context, I have a mic stand holding up the green screen to be able to do this, and it looks very precarious. So that is interesting, to say the least. I'm multitasking, sorry. All right, so I have one more segment I want to do to kind of close out tonight. I want to close out this little Discord segment as well of call and chat. I want to switch over to to Reddit here in a second. We're going to kind of go through some of the Reddit. I think it's fun as a community to see some of these things, and it's also good to highlight that Reddit Mead community. But thank you to my call-in show people. Thank you, Javier, Scott, Steve, for sticking around. I appreciate you guys. I will gladly, we'll be doing this again soon, to say the least. Like, this has been fun.
This was great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. I'm going to switch over to the Reddit. I'll see you guys later. Scott, Javier, Steve, thanks for stopping by. All right, let me switch over to we're going to switch to our Reddit. Now, ooh, I need to do something. Let's see if I can. Okay. Y'all, I have not tested this. So if this fails, this is... Nope, not it. There we go. There it is. That's... Maybe one day. How did I mess this up? I'm gonna try one more. Oh my gosh, did this work? Wait, are we good? Does this work? Scott, I think we're live. Struggle bus. Scott, if y'all can hear me, thank you so much. Scott Chase, thank you for that donation. $5, man. Super chat. You are rocking my world, man. I think the secret to that was the fact that Scott gave me some $5. Scott, shout out to you, friend. You have changed the world. Okay. Here we are. It's... Y'all, it's not a man-made mead stream unless something goes terribly wrong. But I am learning, and that's all that matters. So, I'm going to pull up the chat on my phone. I got too many devices going on right now. Where's it at? There it is. Okay, here we go. So this is the Reddit, Mead Reddit. If you are a... mead maker, or if you're somebody who likes to homebrew, there are lots of communities on Reddit. Reddit is just, they call it the front page of the internet, and in truth that most of the things you see on the internet have come from Reddit in the first place. So this is the Reddit. We're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna scroll through. We're gonna look at some of these things because I think it's fun to look on other people's things and learn, and I think it's fun. So first thing we have here, did that work? Yes, it did work. This is an apartment. Ooh. I don't know how many of you guys in the chat live in an apartment. I'm very curious because I lived in an apartment for 1 year, and I definitely don't think I could have homebrewed in that apartment at that time. So I'm gonna make myself a little bigger. There we go. How many of you guys are living in an apartment? Because that looks tough, but he's making it work. He's making it work. Gonna keep going down. When something piques my interest, I'm going to stop. Let's see. This is, ooh, there we go, y'all. Okay, so we just talked about this a few minutes ago. The vanilla bean debacle, as I'll call it. The fact that vanilla beans are so dang expensive is rough. So, yeah, this is interesting. I mean, he's doing something with orange, but my point was the expense. Bilbamel? What on earth is a bilbamel? Anyone want to take a guess what a bilbamel is? I'm curious. What do you think a bilbamel is? Because I literally have no idea what it is. Got some people gone from a house to an apartment. All my equipment is in a rack in my room. I am, well, fun fact, I'm in the process of getting married. Of course, I now have to consider living with somebody else and not having a nice mead room like this, so I'm having to figure that out. But I'm hopeful that my next space I live in will have a big enough place to store all this, because there is a lot of things above that you're not seeing currently. Beer, hydromel, we got a blueberry mead. I don't know what a bilbamel is. The part that's weird is, like, ml is hydromel. I don't know what a bilbamel is. So, obviously, well, I think this person made it up partially because it seems silly, but also because nobody else, it's been 10 hours and nobody said anything. So, I think they might be just, yeah. Oh, here's one that's interesting. Okay, so I haven't read all this, but the topic. Anyone ever bottled and flip top bottles, have to degas and seal it back up for long-term storage? So one thing, if you're going to make mead to store for long-term, if you're going to take and try and store it for, let's say, like this guy, 5+ years, you want to make sure you're using a bottle that can handle carbonation possibly, unless you know for a fact it's done fermenting, or is sealed well. So, like, to me, swing tops are not a great remedy for this. I definitely would never, I wouldn't be long-term storing in a swing top. Ooh, we got somebody. Bilberries are like blueberries. Bilberry melomel. Bilbamel. Interesting. I've never heard of a bilberry. You learn something new every day. That's kind of fun. Oh, there we go. Lost the music for a second there. Okay. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. This right here. If you're gonna store mead in a bottle, my suggestion to you is that you go ahead and bottle it in something that you know will long-term age. I really love synthetic corks, because you do not have to worry about storing them in the right direction. When you use real corks, you have to make sure and store them on their side, and then to me that's not as space effective. It's like when I look up here and all my things that I have, there's a lot of, well, it'd be hard to store things on that side. So my recommendation to you is that you store with synthetic corks for one. They're a little more expensive, but it's okay. And that you use a more long-term aging bottle. That's my suggestion. If you have a comment on this, leave it in the chat. I would love to hear from y'all. Let's see. I'm going to keep going through the Reddit a little bit. Again, you can always join the Reddit. Reddit's a fun place. Cold crash before secondary. Ooh, I need y'all's opinions, by the way. When I'm bringing this stuff up, again, I'm gonna shout it from the rooftop. I am not the master of this, and I don't think I'll ever be. I think the truth is we're all learning within this process. I want to hear your opinion. This guy's asking about crashing pre-secondary fermentation. I would love to know what you guys think about that. Should you crash your mead before the secondary fermentation to try and get rid of the haze? I don't know if this guy, he might be confused in like, unless he's actually adding sugar to make it go into secondary fermentation. Like, I don't know if he could be confused. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm curious. We got a little music break. Really just don't want to drink my beer and have it in y'all's ears. We got some people. Can't see any reason to do that. Yeah, you're right, Michelle. I agree. Fermentation is going to cause haziness regardless, so there's not really a purpose in trying to cold crash unless you're trying to stabilize, which doesn't work, by the way. Unless you cold crash a million times, you're not going to be able to stabilize it well enough to actually cause the fermentation to completely stop. So make sure that you are stabilizing in a more efficient method. But secondary fermentation will create haziness. So that's just one thing to. Too scared to cold crash? Why are you scared to cold crash? Cold crashing, I mean, if you're trying to use it as a stabilization method, this doesn't work. Sure, everyone to try to avoid the sediment, but there are simpler ways to do that. Bentonite and finishing chemicals. Seems like he's looking to clear that haze, and I think that's his main problem. Taylor says, could you describe the aroma I should be receiving from a traditional mead in early fermentation? I don't know if I messed up mine. Taylor, it's hard to say. I'm going to be honest because... Well, okay. In my opinion, you should be getting probably a little bit of yeastiness because the yeast are just finished fermenting. They're still within the mead. They're going to have that flavor in there. You're going to get that on the nose. You're going to get probably a little bit of boozy smell. You're going to get aroma from... heat from the alcohol, which is standard because it's alcohol, has a burning factor. You're also probably going to get, possibly, depending on your yeast, a little bit of sweetness from the honey. And the yeast, as they ferment, they can retain some of that sweetness. So, those are some things you should, depending on your honey character, you are going to have different kinds of things. Mesquite honey is going to have smokiness. Avocado blossom is going to have a dark floral fruitiness to it. It just depends on what you're thinking. When you were talking to Superstition Meadery, how long should you oxygenate during the primary? I would only oxygenate the first maybe 2 or 3 days of the primary. You really don't want to oxygenate past the 2/3 sugar break, in my opinion, because then you're going to start affecting alcohols. So that 2 or 3 days is within that little bit. All right, we're moving on from this one. Ooh, look at that. How many of you guys, another question for y'all, how many of you guys have a Viking horn of some sort in your arsenal of cups or whatever? I'm curious. I have 2. I was lucky enough to have them as gifts for people. And eventually I want to get a fancy one like this, but I, of course, have not done that yet. I'm going to move on from this guy, though. Some of these questions, I'm just going to skip past. Ooh, look at that guy. That one looks good. I'm going to find one more. Hey, there we go. I'm going to promote this one right here. So here's the deal. If you're a mead maker or winemaker, anything in general, This thing right here is going to revolutionize your world. Now, I'll tell you right now, I can grab it. I got a dog at my feet. I gotta move. Oh, sorry, bud. All right, y'all. I can tolerate this thing. I can tolerate it. But will I use it all the time? Absolutely not. And here's why. This thing is just such an inefficient thing to use. It doesn't, like, first of all, maybe mine's broken, but whenever you push down to try and put it on, there's like it doesn't fully clamp down perfectly, and so then corks get askewed. It's also just not fun. So my suggestion, if you are going to get into this hobby and you're going to make more, a decent amount of mead, I should say, go get one of these floor corkers. They're like $60-$70, but they make life so much easier because they're so fast. So that's what I would suggest for you to do. Now I need to put this away. All right, I'm gonna switch back to the main scene. Boom, here we are. So smooth. Okay. All right, y'all, it has been a fantastic stream. I would love to do this more. My hope is that I can do this more often, and make it easier. If you watch a lot of my stuff or watch a lot of my streams, you'll notice that most of my streams are like me turning on the camera and just going. Not a lot of planning. I would love to do more planning and make them nicer like this. So, I will hopefully be able to do this more often. My hope is to also get an easier accessible green screen. Again, you haven't seen the photo of the actual setup, but it's bonkers to say the least. So I want to highlight a few things, and then I'll take a couple more questions. But first thing, if you want to support the Man-Made Mead channel, there's a simple way to do it. One is just hitting that like and subscribe on any video, like on the videos and subscribe so that you also see the things as they come out. That helps you get notified. YouTube is a sketchy place sometimes. They do decently well at pushing out to people, but sometimes they don't push out exactly to everybody because there's so many so many YouTube channels, I should say, in general. So do that. There's also a Patreon down below where you can support me, and that just helps me continue to make better content. I actually I'm changing cameras very soon. You're not going to see the change for a little bit because I've started a lot of videos with my old cameras, with my old camera, I should say. The new camera, it's going to be a nicer quality, and that's all thanks to the patrons. So if you're a patron and you're watching this right now, I want to say huge shout out to you. You guys have made my life better because I can do more. And as patrons, you get access to my content, you get to early content, and you get to do exclusive things. It's a lot of fun. And those people I'm so thankful for them. So if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do $2 a month, you can do $5 a month, whatever you want to do. All of that means the world to me. So I'd appreciate that. If you just want to support the channel, of course, hit that like and subscribe. Now, my last thing I want to push, of course, Discord. I've already talked about that. Go and support your local meadery if you have one. If you don't have one, get on this thing called Vino Shipper if you're in the US and order some mead from anyone. The truth is, the only way we're going to be able to grow the mead making community is not necessarily by brewing our own mead, but by supporting the people who make the mead. And that's just, it's tough because you have to spend $20-$30 for a bottle maybe. But at the end of the day, there are hundreds of people who create mead and mead making content or whatever who want to do bigger things, who want to go own a meadery. And those people are going to be in the same debacle every single time. Make sure that you are supporting your local meadery or any other people. So those are my plugs. That's all I really care about. I want to take any last questions or anything else, and then I got to hop off here. I got to tear down the setup. I can bring up the pup. He's super sleepy, so he should be easy to. Oh, all right. Green screen pup. Any last little questions? He's got lots of things to say, you can tell. I see some people saying things. Nick, thanks for all your tips. I'm happy to help, Nick. David, thanks for the live cast. Learned some new things. Scott, thank you. Oh, thank you so. You guys are so kind. Thank you for being so supportive. He is so tired. I've got what looks like an oily yellowish foam on top of a traditional mead. Could be some, yeah, like oil, like you said. I wouldn't be too concerned. If you taste it and it seems like poisonous, maybe don't drink it, but I would say otherwise it's okay. Any other last questions, and I'm going to close this sucker down. It's been a great stream. I plan on doing this again more often when I can make it easier. And my hope is that all of my future streams will be more planned, because most of the time when I do things, they are, again, just throwing the camera on and going, which I'm all about the go crazy lifestyle. But yeah. What's his name? This is Boone. He is a Labradoodle. He's about 9 weeks old, and he is mega tired. Greg, looking forward to the 2021 tournament. Oh, I'm excited too. We'll see. We'll see. He needs a little barrel of mead to carry around. Yeah, he is currently 18 pounds, and he was supposed to be about 60, 65. So he's got some big paws, and all he does is sleep right now and lose his mind when he's alone. So he's not a very great pup at being alone, but that's okay. That's life. Jim, thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate you so much, man. Original Big Rob. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes. You'll be able to see the full live stream when it'll take some time to process. Oh, man. Yeah, I know you're tired. All right, y'all. We're going to sign off. I'm going to let the music play for a second as I sign off. I hope you have a great night. Merry Christmas, of course, if you know this before. But have a great New Year. Be safe. Go brew some mead. And I hope you guys will go and support your local meaderies and your favorite mead channels. I want to highlight, of course, that there are a lot of great people. Doing the Most is one of those people that I do a lot of collaborations with, of course. And Eric, is it Eric and Derek? I can't remember their name. There's a new YouTube channel that just started making some mead content. If I can remember, I'll put it in the description. But go support mead channels, because we need help, right? Yeah, we need help. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Cheers.